This ain't the life that we chose, but it's the life that we live in. Know we belong on the top, but we ain't tripping, cause we'll get there in a minute. And we'll get there in a minute, cause we'll get there in a minute.
What's going on, everybody? We're back again. You know it. We'll get there in a minute. Episode 10. I'm right on point this time. You hear me?
Hey.
You know?
You weren't.
Yeah, facts. They had to correct me.
I ain't letting you get that off. Nah.
Try to get it right. Yeah, you know, episode 10. We back like we never left. And by the way, it was a couple of stuff on my fault. I'll take the blame. I was missing some episodes, sending the sesh. They cut up. That's on me. So pardon the delay as we get some of the episodes.
There's gonna be a few episodes coming out this week.
Yeah, we're gonna activate them back to back. Boom, boom, boom. So we ain't done. We far from done. This is gonna be a thing. And but yeah, happy Juneteenth, everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Juneteenth.
We're not gonna dive in too much with that because if you really don't know, we think you should go educate yourself.
Or just ask Donald Trump.
Yeah, true. He has made it. You know. Shout out to Donald Trump, man. Shout out to Donald Trump.
Right.
We made it a hot line. We made it a hot song. You know?
Facts. I appreciate you, D, for putting me on.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What would we do without that, man?
Yeah, that's real, bro.
That's
what they say, yo. If you see get somebody, the crazy thing is, some people really won't really think that he.
Oh yeah.
That he made that popular. So that's the crazy thing about it.
Oh yeah. Facts. He was gonna hold a whole rally this day. Real as PR, publicist, whatever. Told that.
Oh yeah, I was completely wrong on that one.
Yeah, told him to back up, but now he made it popular. Fam, you didn't even know.
I'd be giving that man credit for something. I thought it was all symbolism or something. He was about to do something.
Nah, yeah, we're gonna push it all back because I ain't even gonna give him what they want.
Sometimes you gotta give people the credit for being an idiot, man.
Yeah, he's a brilliant idiot. And like Kev said though, he ain't even really trying to give him airtime on here. That's what Kev said earlier. They see him, he just got his head down. He don't even want to talk about the man.
For what?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's good though. Everybody's healthy.
Yeah, man.
You
know? Shout out to Bass God, man. Lil B, man. Bass God is Friday.
You see my face just dropped? That was on accident, and I just looked. That was crazy.
What did you just say?
Shout out to Lil B. He followed me on Twitter and all that. Bass God is Friday, man. I'm just, you know what I mean? Just throwing that out there.
Was it an album?
Nah, it's just it's a thing. Instead of Thank God It's Friday, it's Bass God It's Friday. You feel me?
Oh,
okay.
BGIF. BGIF.
Word.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Word.
I'm informed. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I kind of lost track a little bit there for a minute.
Yeah, nah, he here.
I mean, I didn't know Lil B still a thing after he was cooking, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. He need to get his flowers then, bro. If he started to cook, we got a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
It's real simple, bro. Everybody's out here cooking.
Yeah,
you throw somebody in the mixer, either on the court, on the football field. You gotta turn around and give them the ooh, ooh.
All right, okay.
We gotta give just a little bit of flowers, man. Just some daisies, man.
A
just
little
a little bit of daisies.
Yeah, he can get a sunflower or something picked from a lawn.
Nah, he need a bouquet. That's my guy.
Clearly, because you just shouted him out to start the episode.
I did it twice. Real nigga shit twice.
Yeah. I thought you misspoke, and I was like, I mean, we check
this
to make sure.
Where he was going, it seemed uncomfortable. Whatever. Tapped up, DZ. Tapped up now. You're not even yacked up no more.
No, taped up.
Taped up. Oh, my fault.
I mean, you see what's going on.
Okay.
Hey.
You know the vibrations, man. You know what I mean? Out here. No dad hat today. Okay. I'm not dad hat daddy today. You know what I mean? Few of our listeners gonna be a little upset. I'll be back next week. You know what I mean? But today I got to show the tape up.
They're gonna be upset.
We got Wilderness Kev over there. Wilderness Kev.
Yeah, you know.
Out and about. You know Kev.
Got the Hulk Hogan.
That's the spinoff right there.
The Hulk Hogan.
Ooh, yeah, brother.
You got jokes.
Oh. No, bro. But Kev, this is the perfect spinoff for you, though, bro. The perfect spinoff for you is like hiking, because you real outdoorsy. Hiking with Kev, you could be like the Black Steve Irwin, or like a mage. Like you showing people how to like forage for berries and nuts and shit like that.
You know what I'm saying? Shower in the lake.
Okay.
You don't wear no deodorant no way, so.
Facts. He good.
I see where you're going with that.
That's some Discovery Channel shit. That'll be big in Maine. Definitely.
You'll be all right. A person from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, stand up.
Yeah, we out here.
Yeah, for real.
I tell you, man, New York's an eclectic place, man. New York's
New
an eclectic place, man. Y'all should be. Y'all got some privilege for being born in New York, man. It's so many different personalities that come out of that place, man. I haven't met one person that came out of New York that has
that's the same
personality. No, that's the whole thought process is totally different, bro.
Yeah,
from barrel to barrel, from the island.
Wow, man. Speaking of boroughs and people that ain't the same, shout out to Kadeem if he's ever listening.
Oh,
shouts to the man.
If you're around, Kadeem.
Real Brooklyn man, the real Brooklyn man.
Yeah, shout out to Kadeem. You know, he's doing his thing out there, man. But word, we're gonna give a little twist and turn on some things. Obviously, we all know that Black Lives Matter has been the new thing. Sesh kind of touched on it in a piece, and we want to dive deeper into it after looking back from last week's episode. It seems to us, maybe, or to me at least, I'll speak on my half and everybody else sharing, but it almost seems you're better off saying Black Lives Matter, even if you don't believe in it, just so your business can continue to thrive and get money. So this is, and it goes back to the Starbucks conversation, my Starbucks rant. Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Is it necessary to like?
Definitely a rant, bro.
Yeah, that was a rant. I went off about that.
I think it was the show is a day.
I don't even know why it even happened that way.
Yeah, it was crazy. Bro. I just kept seeing cancellations and everything. But now back to the topic. Like, yo, the Black Lives, like, you just stamp Black Lives Matter so people can go shopping. Right? It's now it's become almost a business propaganda, right? For big corporations. Throw a little Black Lives sticker so that way our money keeps flowing. And I don't want to be negative in that aspect, but that's kind of what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling now, that this movement has definitely become advantageous for business. Shout out to me using the SAT word right there, man.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? What y'all thinking on that?
I think I would say you right on point. I always get kind of misconstrued with all this shit because I know I'm negative when it comes to all this shit. So I think sometimes I got like a warped vision of all this shit. I immediately go to the negative before I get to the positive. I gotta have somebody like these to tell me like, nah, bro, this is what this is. Like at least to get some type of other way of looking at it, like the whole protest thing. I initially said that shit was some bullshit. Yeah. And then I went. It really didn't change that much, but it did change some. I do see why some people do it, but to get back on this, it just seems like they're trying to. Everybody's doing it, so it seems like it's the cool thing to do. Yeah. So it's hard for me to decipher who's actually doing something that's genuine and who isn't. And the only way I can really tell is for you to see go to your actions. Other than stamping Black Lives Matter, what else have you done? What actionary things have you done to show that Black Lives really matter to your corporation or business or whatnot, other than just sticking a sticker or putting a blackout profile on Instagram?
Exactly. So I think what's going to be important is at the end of the summer, you're going to hear a lot of people saying things like, what have you done for me lately? Other than saying Black Lives Matter, what else have you done since then?
Not damn thing.
Right.
I'm happy. I like how uncomfortable all these racists are getting because, they mindset, I'm not shopping anywhere with that bullshit. And now it's everywhere. So you need toilet paper. You need toilet paper to wipe your little racist ass. Now you got to put your head down, walk into Walmart, and check out.
Yeah, they was hurt. They was hurt
Yeah.
when NASCAR got rid of that Confederate flag.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Like, yo,
Over.
that's
Man, it was
yo,
some hurt hearts out there.
yo, it's crazy. Like the Confederate, like, bro, like I don't get it. You lost. Why is it so important? I never seen people like happy to come in second place. Like, yo, I get it if you won, cool, flaunt your flag. You lost.
it's a brainwash, bro.
Yeah, it's like,
brainwash.
what is it?
It-
What is Confederate really? You know, man, I don't even want to get down that rabbit hole. Whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because that's just a whole different thing, and it's an entirety itself. But it really is ridiculous, and I don't know if it goes to what like Sesh said. Is it the negative thinking in me? DZ's like he likes to see all the races be, you know, and mad about it, uncomfortable, I guess. And I see that both ways, but it's also the same things that I think is just like, all right, cool. These corporations slap that sticker, still get that dollar, still donate to where they're donating that money to, which has been the problem for, you know, obviously when it all comes down to it, money's going to be the root of all evil and power. So this is where I'm thinking. So I just want people, you know, to be conscious about, you know, what you're canceling, and then what you are still buying, if you are conscious of it, and if you're so, whatever, you know, the term woke is, whatever they want to say, but because I hate that term woke, and you can give me a whole nother rant about that one too. I'm not gonna go there, but it's like it's ridiculous. So like I just want people to understand that, like just because somebody puts that sticker up there or they say this, like really just check yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? It's I feel like black people sometimes we're too accepting of just letting people in. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the right way I'm trying to convey that.
Here's a question for y'all, just on that the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Do y'all think without all these businesses, big corporations, just like now coming along with Black Lives Matter, even though it's been around for the last 4 or 5 years, nobody wanted to really be a part of it. Nobody wanted to ostracize themselves and make it seem like they were all for black people and nobody else, or whatever they thought that they were going to be doing by showing support to Black Lives Matter. Now that everybody's doing it, do you think that kind of takes away what it means? The initial, I guess the initial meaning of what Black Lives Matter was? Does it take away power from that organization, because now it's just like the trendy thing, and just like with everything else, it becomes trendy. When as soon as it gets hot, it's gonna be those people like myself that's gonna be like, I don't really like that shit. It's gonna be so many people that's gonna be like, I don't like it, and then after a while, it ain't trendy no more. And it's a week, it's just hot, and then it ain't no more.
How do you ride that wave? That's my question. How do they ride that wave? Whoever it is that is kind of steering the ship, or however you want to put it. How do you ride that wave? How do you ride that momentum? How do you enact that into action or change? So I guess that's the question. And again, like I said, only time can really tell.
You put people of color in those boardrooms, baby. That's really how you do it. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see what people are going to do afterwards. What actions are you going to take with your company to show that your company really believes Black Lives Matter, other than just saying Black Lives Matter?
It's like
words are one thing, actions is totally different.
Don't change your image. Don't change your logo. Just because you change who's on the pancake box, don't mean that it makes a difference in what actually happens in that company.
Talk about it. Facts. And it's like, don't, like you said, Kev, don't change, you know, all this stuff. Show me your senior staff. Or whatever departments, whatever corporation. Show me your senior staff, and then we could talk if your message is really what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, the senior staff is we all know what they look like. You know what I'm saying? We could probably picture it in our head. You know, if anybody could use their imagination, right? We know what that senior staff looks like. So, and not just the one brother that's in the senior staff, right? Get a couple, right? Make it a mix. You know, get a black woman, or you know, whatever the case. Make it diverse, so there is actual diverse minds coming to the table.
Hey, DZ, I know you have me on the vodka seltzers. If if what's the name of the junk down in Texas? Tito's. If Tito's come to you and say we need a new face, we want you to be the face. A Tito's like Uncle Ben. You know Uncle Ben at Tito's. Would you be down
Be
for
the
it?
Uncle Ben of Tito's.
We just got to talk numbers. If numbers is right, I'm with it. You know what I mean?
My man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying like,
right.
yeah, Hennessy, give me a shout. Like, I can be the face of your. I can hop on your bottle real quick.
Facts. That's all Nas did. Nas did it.
True. Oh, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at.
What's that?
Going to now, speaking about
I don't know. I'm
music.
trying to figure that out
Kev
myself.
chainsaw.
Nah,
Kev got chainsaws on deck.
I don't know where Kev at.
nothing changed in my background. I don't know why y'all always trying to blame Kev.
That's the go-to. Bro.
But speaking
That's
of,
the go-to.
we got a ton of movement right now, as Kev has spoken about before, and then always with movement, there's always people that are gonna disagree. All right, and then they're gonna disagree out in the public forum, which is the tough part, because then it's all look at them arguing again. They can't even agree. I don't know if anybody's familiar that's listening that does listen to us. Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie, and the whole NBA coming back. That we spoke upon that last week too a little bit, but obviously the NBA is coming back. People are saying it could be a distraction from the movement that is taking place right now and the momentum we have. Make a long story short, rumor was Kyrie said we shouldn't play. We should start our own black movement within basketball, like their own black NBA. Kendrick said that's a lie. The only reason he's saying that now is because apparently the Nets wasn't going to let him come to Orlando to play. Anyway, long story short, KD called Kyrie a sellout.
No, called Kendrick Perkins.
KD called Kendrick a sellout. Go ahead, Seth. Obviously now it's all over. Speaking of distractions, right? That's what seems to be talked about. It's all over ESPN again. Skip Bayless going back and forth with Kendrick now, and the NBA player siding with this person. What's y'all take on it? I think Kyrie had I'll say this. I think Kyrie has some validity in what he's saying. We already know he's an out-of-the-box thinker, which is nothing wrong with that. I feel like you need those people to create change. But do you think he's bugging with his thoughts, or or is Kendrick right? Like, how do y'all see it?
I think Kyrie. I stopped listening to Kyrie's anything outside of basketball once he said the world was flat. So typically, I'm just going to say he bugging. But it's some validity to what he's saying. Let's start another league. But how do you do that? Like, what steps do you go? You can't just up and say like, all right, now we're going to start a league and we're not going to play in the playoffs. Now, like, if depending on how those players come back and what they choose to do, it could bring more light. It could rekindle that fire. It could start a bigger conversation. It is going to be the biggest sports platform, and we haven't watched live sports in Lord knows how long. And everybody wants something live to watch. Yes. Everybody loves it, so everybody's going to be tuned in. So if we know LeBron's always on his activism shit, so if he comes out with a huge statement, or whoever it is comes out with a statement, or somebody you may not have heard of, or somebody I know the Wizards ain't gonna be in it, but I know Bradley Beal had a story just recently about some shit. It's a bunch of different ways. It's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat. But I do think if you got some negative shit to say, if it's not bringing something positive to the whole situation, you can bring some negativity to it, but end with some positivity. Like let's try to build on what we got.
They're in full blown beef right now. They're in full blown. I mean, Kendrick said something about the man. If his brain had wings and fly backwards, something like that, he still wouldn't be able to fly forward. Just like it's going on, but he said he could have really unloaded. I'm just like, man, yeah. And yes, Kyrie had the flat earth thinker. Y'all know I'm a weirdo, so like, I'm not really gonna give Kyrie some negative points for that thought, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not saying I agree, but I like people who are willing to say some crazy shit and back it up.
You can't back that one up, though.
Yeah, no.
You can't back that one up.
You can't back it up for sure. But I like people who do think wildly out the box. I think that's one thing I can side with him on thinking outside the box.
All right. Kendrick Perkins is my man. Like, I love Kendrick Perkins. So I feel like there's a lot of truth to what he was saying, but he probably shouldn't have said it. And he walked it back once he had a conversation with Wilson Chandler on the phone. And he said he apologized for saying it. You know what I mean? Like, after Wilson Chandler had the conversation, he realized, all right, he's wrong. But at the end of the day, he's employed by ESPN. He's an analyst. So if a topic comes up, he's got to speak on it. It's his job to speak on it. But, you know, some people get caught in the moment, especially if that's not really a topic in pre-production and they just pop up with it. Looking for that kind of reaction, you get caught up in the moment. So, I mean, he kind of walked it back, but it is what it is, man. I feel like Perkins don't hurt his tongue. He's really better, I think.
And that's the thing. I really like Perkins. I like Kyrie. I like all of them, right? Then you got Stephen A. coming out calling Kyrie a bozo, right? Obviously. I think it's just uncalled for in a sense that, like, all right, cool. Why don't you hear him out? I think what Kyrie's saying, there's some truth. I think there's a legit action plan to figure it out and make that happen. But just on the same side, Sesh, I'm with you. Like, right now we have a chance to use the momentum, go watch live sports, make some crazy statements, do something. But we have to make sure if this is the right way and this is what they're going to do, they got to do it the right way, whatever that way is. And really make that statement and not make it about basketball. Because I definitely do fear thoughts that I'm thinking is these ESPN columnists and journalists and all that are going to do the reports on these guys. They might be told not to ask those questions. So if you're not asking those questions, hey, LeBron, you just dropped 50. Yeah, but I want to talk about Black Lives right now. Like, that's not really how, right? They might be directed to talk strictly about basketball. And then now what?
Well, you say you take your platform and you do exactly if it ain't gonna it's not gonna just be one game. They gotta go through the playoffs. They gotta do all that. So if you notice that's the wave you're going, maybe you take a different statement. Maybe you throw the shirt on. Maybe you throw some type of symbolism into what you're doing. Maybe for the tip off, don't nobody do nothing. Everybody just fucking stand there. Just let the ball drop a couple times. Walk up. I don't know. Maybe so show some type of form of solidarity. Show them that everybody is sticking together. And what you were saying, I think two people can be right in a situation and two people can be wrong. I don't think either one of them are wrong in what they're saying. I know just like in just history, KD seems to be a more emotional young man.
Yeah.
He's an emotional young man. He gets on he has burner accounts, he hops on, he hops off. Like, that's the kind of thing he is. So like him saying that that Perk is a sellout doesn't have whole much weight with me coming from him.
Especially because they had beef before too.
Yeah. That's a fact. So they could have a situation where they go and talk to each other and sit down, talk it out. And now they best of friends again, and now KD like, yeah, this is my man. You know, it's hard for me to decipher like when they're selling tickets or when it's just like, or when you just like trying to put on for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
But on your earlier point, why you talking about platforms? It's 2020. Why do we act like they need the ESPN to promote something? Like, they got millions of people on IG. They have Twitter. They have Facebook. Like, they don't need that platform. Like, they can go do it themselves if they want to do it.
Yeah, and that's a great point, right? And I was talking about this the other day, and I was like, the people, and this could be an ignorant statement by me, what I'm about to say, but I feel like the people that mostly watch basketball are in somewhat of an agreement of, Black Lives Matter, for the most part, right? I would say that. I believe that too. Football is definitely different. We know that, right? Football is America's game. When you think of America,
also a different crowd.
Yeah, different crowd, right? I think basketball is a little bit different and a little bit more moving forward as far as fan base, except for a few owners. I know you're thinking I can see your head going that way, DZ. But I think for the most part, So when like, all right, if 1.3 million people follow LeBron or whatever these dudes are, most of them are in agreements or most of them are some type of burner account just to talk shit under there.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So I think it's tough, right? I think it's a good idea, but I'm always gonna give both sides. You know what I'm saying? And I could be wrong. Maybe the fan base is very like football, but I think for the most part, basketball fans, there's more of everybody's in agreements more than football.
Yeah.
And I agree with Trev, and I think the evidence to show that was when the douchebag with the Clippers, whenever that whole thing happened,
Yeah.
I felt like the NBA stood behind like them making that decision and getting his ass out of there. So I feel like the NBA has shown with their past actions that like that's exactly what they will do and that's what they believe.
Yeah, Silver don't play that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you also got to remember, like, far as like in the NBA, NFL is like the players have a lot more power in the NBA than they do in the NFL because of their collective bargaining agreements, because of their unions. So as a player, I'm gonna have more say so in what goes on as far as me as a player, everybody across the league. So, and I don't know. I would assume that it's percent. I don't know. Is percentage wise NBA? Is it more black people in the NBA than it is?
It's tough because there's more numbers in football.
Yeah.
You got to bring in 53 to a team plus practice squad. I would not. I can't give you an answer on percentage, but
we know it's still we still know black people are the majority of that's
for sure.
Is the majority. So NBA, they're the majority, and they, as the players, hold more keys to their fate than the NFL guys. So they feel a little freer to say whatever they feel like. And the NBA somewhat has to stand behind that, especially when you got a LeBron James. You have the biggest name in sports walking to the tune of that drum. So you kind of have to back behind it. And you know what's crazy? I heard somebody mention something. Well, maybe I was listening to the Joe Button podcast, and they was talking about Roger Goodell and the statements he made and why he made them so quick. Maybe because the face of your league is now Patrick Mahomes, a black quarterback who is now part of that. So
Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Kyle Murray, Lamar Jackson. Right.
You're starting to see that guard change, especially in that quarterback position. That's supposed to be, like we always say, it's the coveted position of the NFL, and you can't work for it. But my bigger thing with the whole KD Perk thing is, if you wanted to start a league, why do we always show our hand? Why are we always showing our hand? Why can't we keep something somewhat private?
Yes.
Like whether it's us agreeing, disagreeing, we can keep that private. If it's the whole thought of like, let's start our own league kind of thing. Let's pool all our money and start our own league. Why can't we keep that? Let's keep everybody. Let's keep us out of it. Keep the fans out of it. Let's keep it business wise until we have something concrete to stand on and bring to the people.
That's why it sounds like bullshit.
It's funny you said that, Sesh. But because what Kyrie now is claiming, that it was supposed to be just a player's call, and without nobody telling them, they had the Bleacher Report on the line as well. So they had somebody in from the Bleacher Report, and that's how the story got leaked.
As a professional player, there's no way that you think anything you're saying. There's no reason you should think anything unless you went in your room with your boys. There's nothing no reason you should think you hopping on a team on a call with nothing but players, and you don't think anything is going to get out from that.
I think that he's vice president.
Whether bleachers put it on it or not.
He's vice president or something up for the league and stuff like that. Kyrie, as far as
Kyrie is,
players. Yeah, he's something up there. I can't exactly think of it off the top of my head, but he's part of like whatever the NBA PBA or whatever, something like that, Players Association thing. So he's got some clout in that sense, and like I said, I'm not in there. We're just here giving bits and pieces and trying to make it together.
I gotta fuck y'all up right now, man, because y'all brought it to the NFL and quarterbacks and Roger Goodell. Can we talk about your man Dak Prescott, man? No longer my man no more.
Breaking news. Go ahead. What you got for us?
Dak Prescott came out and said kneeling's kind of gonna take all the joy out of football.
When did he say that?
He was already on that, wasn't he?
He said that a couple days ago. Kneeling's gonna take the joy out of the game.
Did you say anything else with that? What? Like, what was the question? I'm so confused.
You can't figure out what the question was, Kev?
Joy. Like, is it saying that? So is he saying that he's not going to kneel, or?
I think that's what he's saying. That's definitely what he's saying. That's definitely what he's saying.
Well, he hasn't been kneeling at all.
Or he's not. If I'm not saying that he's not going to kneel, but he's definitely not with the whole movement of kneeling because he thinks it's going to take the fun out of the game.
I don't get how that takes the fun out of the game. Like, you can kneel or not kneel, and somebody else.
I'm just upset, man. I was championing this man, caping for him to get his bread, and he just go say some shit like this, man.
But let's go like the whole Drew Brees thing we hit on. Drew Brees took a knee before. I believe it was before the anthem is what ended up happening when they took a knee before, and then when the anthem started, he stood up. But I believe Dak has some shit. He said some shit when all this had first jumped off, and he was asked about it. It was something on the All Lives Matter kind of change.
I'm looking at it right now. Yep, he was apparently. This was in July. This was in last year, July 30th of 2018. I just had to Google some of this stuff now. Pretty much, he was opposed to all forms of protest while playing football. So he's been on this take for a while.
Yeah, he gonna get paid. He's standing up for Texas right now. He doing a Texas thing right now.
I was just gonna ask that. Do you think he's like staying in line with what his owner wants him to say, or?
Yeah, he falling in line right now.
And that may be it, right? I think if you don't want to kneel, you don't got to. Nobody's forcing you to kneel.
Absolutely.
You ain't got to say no dumb shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm about to go with it next. You got to be kneeling ain't got nothing to do with playing the game and playing quarterback. The national anthem, how long is it? A minute, 2 minutes? I don't even know. Do what you got to do, whatever your routine is, national anthem wise, and play the game, right? That like what? Like,
yo, who the fuck watches the national anthem when football's on? I go get beer, wings, go to the bathroom. Like, who the fuck says, all right, don't miss that.
So the interesting thing is that how often is that even aired on national television?
It's definitely not
before every game. I don't believe that it's aired. There's usually a commercial.
I think it's they started showing it more once it became a thing. Once Cap started making it a whole thing, and then you started seeing coverage of the national anthem and everybody. It was under a microscope at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But the point that I'm making is that it wasn't important enough for the league to showcase it before it became an issue.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I have no clue, Cap, to really answer your question because it's something you don't really know until it's in your face, right?
Right.
Like for us, it was football. Like, all right, cool. Like Dizzy said, he's going to do what he has to do. I'll probably have done what they probably do show it. They probably did this whole time. But people are talking. It's your bathroom break. It's your food break. That's kind of now with this being in your face. Now, like Seth said, it's out there now. I can't tell you before this all happened when I noticed the national anthem on football games.
The Super Bowl.
Only when I played is when I knew about it.
The Super Bowl, when there was someone famous singing it that was somewhat out of the ordinary. I feel like that's the only time they really played it.
To tie this whole thing back into the whole Kendrick Perkins, KD, Kyrie thing, sometimes, bro, like Deezy say, you need to exercise your right to shut the fuck up. If you don't have anything productive to say, if either way, whether you're in agreement with it or not, if you don't have anything positive to say in the light of the protest, just shut the fuck up. Especially if you black, just shut the fuck up and let the people who out here trying to put in the work, let them put in the work.
Yeah. Apparently,
it's only a detriment.
Yeah. Apparently, Dak's thing is he thinks it's bigger issues than that, or whatever the case may be. However that falls in line, whatever it is. But one day, Dak, I will say this to you: you don't have to agree with the protest. I hope you find a better way. If you believe there's a better way, I hope you come up with that solution. But I think you've seen it a little bit, a taste of when you don't have that football helmet on and you're not in the state of Texas, right? And eventually you won't always be Dak Prescott who's throwing the ball and he's young. You're going to be one of us, which you are. And I said it to all the guys that feel like this is not an issue, right? Your son or daughter might not have that God-given talent that allows them to be in the national spotlight. So everybody should just tread lightly on their thoughts about it while you're hot, right? And he's up there, he's fighting a new contract, so you're probably trying to, like DZ said, fall back a little bit, get his money from Texas. But I understand. Texas don't like you neither like that, bro.
Still nigga.
Let's remember too. I think Dak is half black, half white.
Yep.
So he may have some relatives. He might still have some white relatives that may be in his ear, or he may feel some type of way because he's not.
For sure. Black. As long as he understands this, he might be biracial, which is cool, but you look black.
Still nigga.
When they pull you up, they're gonna say African American. Like you said,
you still black, right? You don't got the luxury of being biracial. That's the wrong word. The luxury. That's just right, because that's not what
biracial privilege.
That's what I'm trying. Like he thinks it's a privilege because bro. Like it's not that way. Like, sorry, whatever, man. Like
I'm trying to figure out why he was. I'm throwing ideas out there as to why he might.
Yeah, because he's a fucking bozo. That's why.
He wants to sell yogurt. My man want to sell Campbell's soup and sell Yoplait.
They gonna come.
Like, I like soup. Soup good. Yo, Dak want to be on commercials, bro. He want to make that advertisement money.
He probably gonna lose Campbell's. I think they got a Black Lives Matter thing going on. They got to cut ties.
Yeah, it's weird, Dak. And I just say this, and I want to tie it all back together because this is also the piece that when Sesh kind of started talking about it, like why do we always got to play our cards? This takes me back to a time when I think the Panthers were going to sell their team or something like that. Diddy, I want to buy. Steph Curry's like, if you do it, I'm in too. And they made it a whole thing on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? Just, this is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Go get up in there. Because the minute you put it out there publicly, it's in the news. Now what's going to happen? We ain't going to let them get no team. You know what I'm saying? So move strategically. I'm glad everybody's making moves and wants to make moves. For sure, you got to make moves. But everybody don't need to know about them. Get your solid team. Get it jumping. And just get to work. Because the more you say, the more they're going to deflect. Right?
Yep.
No.
And we got to just, if we're going to disagree, start disagreeing on in a private platform. Or if you're going to disagree, do it in a way you don't got to disrespect the next man or the next woman, trying to degrade them on their mind and their way of thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Do it in more of a form, like a long form, like we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can have if you really want to tell people what the fuck you thinking. Do it in a situation where you're sitting down and talking to them. You can film that. You can cut it however you can edit it, however the fuck you want to edit it, and have that conversation so people can get the totality of what the fuck you're trying to say. Because you put something out there, and now it's up to me now to put what I think about it. And after that goes on, I think one way, you think another way, everybody, and all that comes together. It's just a bunch of noise. It's taking away everything from what the main focus is. Whether he was right or wrong, or what he said, whether it was correct or not correct. It's a good thought. It's a good thought to be thinking like, you know what, let's start our own league. Let's control what the fuck is going on so we don't have to worry about that. I understand that whole that. I understand all that. Let's just be a little better about what we're
doing. Better. Let's really come together on this, especially in this time. It's not the time to really be, the real talk, be beefing with our own. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the way right now, especially over something like this. Like,
right.
It really ain't the way. It ain't the way.
Some of it I also feel like it's people just wanting to have something to say. They just want to be that person that has the mic for a minute, that has that hot line that wants to put something out there. So
and Kendrick
sometimes, like you said, DZ, let them know what they got to do, DZ.
Exercise your right to shut the fuck up.
And that says, man, we just gotta do better. But I was gonna jump into the J. Cole no name thing, but I think since we're on the topic of football, and I think we should stay on it. If y'all, what do y'all think about that?
Well, what
I'm saying? So, college football got the players coming back for voluntary, right? Rotations heavy on the voluntary workouts for the summer. If you guys all know, people watching, that shit ain't voluntary. If you ain't there, you're
No.
So yes, they had to be up there to the campus to work out. All right. Mr. Dabo Sweeney, Mr. Deflection himself, the deflection artist, pulling himself up by the bootstraps and believe in God, the good old Christian way, and you will get to where you need to go and be a good old boy. I really kind of did a lot of deflecting for a long time with this, but had a lot to say about Cap. When Cap was kneeling, Clemson just had 23 players test positive for COVID-19. Not sure I have the severity. A lot of them seem to be asymptomatic, which is going on. Many other teams have tested positive. Texas Tech had about 5 or 10 kids. Pretty much everybody that is on campus has tested positive. Alabama has got guys.
Syracuse.
So one is like, this is coming from a person whose job is really has to do with football. And then I'm just watching people say, well, they're just young kids thrown back out there, right? And it's just like, it really pisses me off. Like, one, they're kids, but they're affecting other people, right? These coaches are old. These coaches are bringing to their kids and mothers and grandmothers. And yes, I get it. Like, do I want football to be back like the next person? Of course, but I'm not going to do it at the detriment of these kids.
Yeah.
Because all it's going to take for is one kid to die through this, and then we're going to look, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, these kids, they're athletes. They're still children. So we as coaches and adults have to protect them because as kids, as a 21, 17-year-old, the world I thought I was invincible. And I know that's what these kids are thinking right now. These kids are not invincible. Right? And as adults, we have to be just the catchers and make sure we're doing them right. And I feel like right now the college football world is not trying to do right by these kids that make them a ton of money. And that's the case.
Yeah, and the money's driving the decisions. That's the terrible thing about it. They're not thinking about the young lives that may or may not be lost. They're thinking about the money, the gains, the losses, the numbers.
Because it goes back. It's like this. COVID can affect underlying health issues. And the first thing that I think of now is one of the things that are very common amongst Black people is the sickle cell disease. Right?
That's crazy, bro. I was sitting there thinking that shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's very common with athletes. I think I might have had or have it when I used to get tested for it. So it's like, would that affect people who are, that do get it, and that is something they have to battle with. So it's just little things like that. So I just want, and this is, like I said, it's coming from somebody who is still training and all that, but I feel like I'm doing the cautionary steps, making sure I don't have big groups like the football team is right now, or whatever the case may be. So it just leads me to, do y'all think college football will be played?
Yeah.
No. I say no.
Ooh.
Why do you say no?
Yeah, why do you say no?
I say no because the reality of it is going to smack them in the face before the season even gets started. If this has happened during the reality of people getting sick and not being able to stop it. Because if one team gets sick, do you pull that team out of their schedule? Or do you throw people out there just to play the games? Like, how does it work? Does your whole division get, like, sidelined for the weekend? Or, like, there's no way. The logistics are going to be nuts, bro. There's no way it's going to happen.
I'm with you. I understand that part. But my whole thing, if the season was starting around when all this had first hit the fan, then I would be somewhat with you. Now seeing how, like, the phases are now put into effect, basically all 50 states for the most part have, like, phases that they're trying to work their way back into what you would consider normal everyday life. So you're starting to see people start to move a little differently. You're starting to see people out and about. And if you don't see those cases rise, it just seems like 3 months ago, everybody was scared because nobody knew anything about it. Now we're at a place where to me, it really doesn't seem like we still know anything fucking about it.
No.
It's so many different contradicting statements by so many people, from people who are supposed to be the people you look to for answers. Don't seem like they have any answers. They seem like they're just shooting from the hip and giving you information, and then within the next week, it's something totally different. So it's a little strange.
I think some of those, like you said, though, some of the people that are professionals are giving us their, what is it, the hypotheses, like an educated guess. Is that what it is? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they're giving you information, but as time goes on, information is going to change, right? New findings, new studies, new research. So I think people got to be careful with that, trying to blame the experts. You know, like we don't know. We all don't know. But DC, what do you think?
I honestly think, and I'm gonna paraphrase the man himself, Donald Trump. You're not gonna get reports on cases you don't test. So I feel like if shit get too real, you're gonna see less and less testing happening. Sadly, because there's no testing protocol really engraved in stone in that situation, and that's what really worries me.
I didn't think about it in that sense.
The other thing is that we're already seeing these numbers. The cases go up in all other states that are reopening.
Yeah, but Easy's saying
Florida, the Carolinas are seeing numbers jump.
But Easy's saying is like, they're not going to test the players. So if you don't test the players, you don't got it.
Well, let's think about the other side. Yeah, if you start testing more people, yes, more people are going to start having it. Now, as you test, if more people aren't, if it's not as fatal as it seems to have, they may have put it, then what?
But
So yes, a bunch of people who have had it or have it, but how many people are actually dying from it? How severe is this? Did it take a quarantine? Did the quarantine actually play a part in it? It's so many different things that we don't know, that they aren't giving us. Yes, you need to wear masks, and then there's another person that says, no, these masks don't do anything. Then yes, you need to have this certain kind of mask, and then no, that mask doesn't do anything. Oh, you need to wear gloves. Oh no, it's almost impossible for you to touch something and get it. You can only get it by if it's airborne. Well, if you're outside and it's airborne, you're pretty kind of good. It's just so much different shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much different shit. And like, yes, if you start testing more people, yes, the numbers for it are gonna go up. As far as like who actually has it, but who's dying from it is while the numbers going up, is the mortality rate going down? So it's a bunch of statistics that they're just throwing out here at people, with no real explanation for it.
But my thing is,
nobody's explaining shit.
And I think this is okay. But all right, they're only up there right now on campus with just the teams, right? The fall teams.
Exactly.
Now you have those big schools, and you're implementing them coming into the mix with people that are positive, right, or not, and there's people that are positive coming in, and then now you got even a whole another situation.
Some of these schools have hundreds of thousands of kids on campus. Hundreds of thousands.
You should move on the side of caution. If I don't understand, that's at least what I'm doing. Yes. I don't know what the fuck is going on, so I'm just gonna move on the side of caution. I'm gonna let everybody else go out there full-fledged, and I'm gonna see how it work for a little bit before I start to. I'm gonna be a month or so behind everybody else and see how everything goes. But just knowing how NCAA works, it is a business. So if the numbers are down, if going into the season come August, if it's really no cases have really gone up, nobody's really died from it, they're gonna start that season. They're gonna figure out a way to start the season. In my mind.
I'll give you a little more. I'll give you a little more background for why I say no. Being in college admissions, I'm also aware of the fact that a lot of the timelines that are being talked about are trying to avoid the cold and flu season. So football is not willing to bump their schedule up. So they will be playing into cold and flu season, which is why I think realistically they're not going to risk it.
So you think the college is going to risk millions of dollars based on an admissions for students enrolling during cold and flu season.
And now this is the trick.
No, not during enrolling, during the timeline, like during the on-campus timeline. They're trying to change when kids are on campus to avoid them being on campus during cold and flu season.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of millions of dollars at play here.
Only.
Billions.
I was being on a low side because there'd be no fans.
Only for certain schools.
Right.
So that's the caveat. A lot of schools, besides your Bama, the schools we know, right? Those schools, for the most part, are the ones that football actually is a profit for them. A lot of people don't realize football is a lost expense for a lot of those schools.
Yeah.
So I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Alabama ain't really stressing the cold.
Alabama's not going to stress. Tennis schools like that are not going to stress. But then you got to go down to, like, for instance, you can go to your UConn, right? They're in
Buffalo.
Buffalo. They're independent, right? So they're not making the money that Alabama is, right? Because those schools aren't on TV. So there is not a lot of return of investment within football a lot of the time.
Because they aren't getting a bunch of people at those games.
They're not getting a lot of people at those games, and then you got to talk about their travel schedule. Then you got to talk about their hotel schedule.
TV
contracts. I could speak. Even then you got to talk about your FCS schools. Like Maine, we didn't bring in money. We got a lot of that through fundraising and shit like that, but it wasn't. We usually our budget was real small, if there was one, and we didn't really profit except for maybe if we won, we get a little bit more people at the. But that was part of the reason why we couldn't have a playoff game, because we didn't get enough fans to generate the money to have a home playoff game.
So when they're thinking about cutting programs and shit like that, so what? I would love to know what sports actually bring in money outside of the big schools. What sports for these schools actually bring in money? What are you getting? What does the school get from having a sports team? Is it just the fact that it's
you know what's funny? It's crazy. I gotta hit my old teacher up for this. I have a document for my sports management class.
I had it too.
Yeah, and it's really not like we think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, doesn't it also depend on the school itself? Like I know, like let's say for LSU is known for having track athletes as well as other like really good sports. So some schools are really known for their swimmers and like softball teams. So I think it really depends on the school, but mostly I think football is one of those major gainers in regards to like.
Of course, because the big sell is you want to go to a school that has football team, regardless, right? Because it still brings in the homecoming and your traditional things that go along with football. But if your team's not really winning, people ain't showing up. Depending on where you are in the state, people ain't going if it's cold, if you're not winning. So there's a lot of things that tie into it. But with all that being said, I think there will be a season for the top schools, the ones that bring in money.
FBS.
And I don't think even all FBS.
Really?
I don't think I think, SEC for sure.
Oh.
SEC. What's Ohio State in? The
Big Ten.
Big Ten for sure.
Big Ten will play.
Pac-10.
Pac-10, yes.
Pac-10, no.
What?
Didn't the Pac-12 or Pac-10s already? There's 2 or 3 schools that are not playing in Cali. Like already, the Cali mayor has come out and said.
You could 100% be right. I have no idea.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta figure out what schools are. A couple of Cali schools.
So my question is, how do you tell a conference that so just so you know, you're not going to bring in that much money, even though you might make some money. We don't want you to play this season. How do you just convince them that they're going to forfeit whatever they might gain?
Well, if you're telling them that, they ain't got no choice.
That and how do you say that as NCAA is supposed to be nonprofit? It's not. They're not supposed to be. The money isn't supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's
California, like University of
what
California.
NCAA is supposed to be.
Nonprofit.
Yeah. So San Diego State is not returning to campus in 2020. California State University system announced the fall 2020 semester will be online. And that was in May 13th.
Semester or the football?
For the fall semester.
So all the shit squads.
But that's still what? The Pac. I think the NCAA said, how can you play? What is it? Some of them are in the Pac-12 and Pac-10.
San Diego State University's been like decent. They've been in the top.
I don't know if they're in the Pac. I know there's a couple schools in Cali that are close to the Pac. You know, because then if you don't play, how do you create the playoff system? All that stuff.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, how do you if you just have it within? Would you just have your championship games and then call it good, or you have go back to like the whole bowl game system?
But I definitely think like your top schools will play. Yeah, the SEC conference will definitely play for sure.
Well, if they're giving those schools automatic L's because they forfeit, then it's not really going to change the dynamic of the playoffs.
True. Okay. But I know the NCAA made a statement that they wouldn't – something like with the championship, like they wouldn't necessarily say because if a team drops out because of some type of thing they said. I don't know. And I was leaning more towards, there will be a season. Then there's the days I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen. Then there's days I'm like, I really am falling and I just really don't know.
I think it's happening, man. I think if we lose the Sara Lee Bowl or the Tupperware Bowl, like I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be good, but they'll
Sara Lee Bowl.
I'm just saying, it's a bowl for everything now. You get 3 wins, you in a bowl.
Yeah, you're right. You can get a bowl. Yeah. So a lot of these teams, and it's going to be interesting to see for sure. And like Kev just said, only time will tell. Only time will tell. And let's keep it on the football thing. I mean, speaking of playing or not, Ezekiel Elliott tested positive. A couple of the Cowboy players did. But yeah, we know the NFL. We know the NFL is playing. I think that's kind of a fact of the matter.
But they're not using the bubble system. So, do you think that that's going to be something that works?
What's the bubble system?
The bubble system is like what the NBA or NHL plan on doing, where they're going to have a site that they bring players and their families to. That way they can test and somewhat contain who they're exposed to.
Yeah. And you're not doing it?
No. They're going to allow players to kind of do their own thing. They might have testing, but it doesn't sound like they're going to be restricting their limits.
That's going to change
for you, yeah.
That's going to change.
That's the NFL for you, man.
Right there in a nutshell.
Nah, what I was laughing when you said Zeke tested positive. Des Bryant sent out a tweet. It was like, I'm COVID negative. So what's the play so bad?
Yeah, man.
He's training. He looks good, bro. I see some videos.
Yeah, he looks amazing, man. I thought the Giants was going to get him 2 years ago.
I don't know what Des did so bad that he just did. Oh, he tore his Achilles for the Saints, right?
Yeah,
bro. I hope the Packers pick him up. I hope the Packers. They need a something they can get for the low.
Des was
balling. You said Des was balling? When?
I don't know if
he came back. No, he looked great that game, and then he tore his shit right away. But it was like
I thought he tore his shit in practice too.
Oh, was it practice?
Yeah, he didn't ball.
He didn't touch the field yet.
Oh, I guess I just got hopes. I guess I was just hopeful.
Yeah, he's hopeful.
It's my guy.
He would have balled.
Yeah, listen, man. You're not gonna get me on the workout vid. You're not gonna get me on the workout vid, guys, on Instagram. I'm sorry. Everybody looks good doing the workout vids. I'm not going. We could put a whole little spoof together for Trev coming off an Achilles injury, and then 5 months from now, let's get back into training and just throw some music on, throw that little baby on, put Trev in a rack, get him on a ladder real quick, get him come out, get him teased up a few times. Whoa, he about to come back. He about to make a move.
Right. Not me, not my black ass. I ain't shitting me. But yeah, so the NFL is gonna have to do that. And speaking of the NFL, let's talk about some interesting things to dive into. Jamal Adams, man, one of the top safeties in the league. And listen, man, I don't know who's competing harder for hurt Olympics right now. The Giants. The Jets.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
So the Giants, the Jets, and sometimes our own community in this one for the hurt Olympics. Sometimes we just want to be hurt so bad and we want to argue about everything. That's my new thing. The Hurt Olympics.
The Hurt Olympics.
The Hurt Olympics, man. Who is coming in #1 for the Hurt Olympics? All New York teams. And they keep going.
New York ain't had a let's before we go anywhere else on this. New York ain't had a good sports team. Oh, I'm sorry, the Yankees. The Yankees have been good for the last 2 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, but other than that,
thank you.
Y'all was hurting for a nice little bit there, man. The Yankees was struggling. The Mets was nobody really cares about the Mets in New York.
Nobody.
I don't know how the Rangers do, but that's not really something I speak.
Rangers
I
ain't been good since Gretzky.
Since what?
I don't even know if Gretzky played for the Rangers, bro.
He definitely played.
He definitely did, right?
He played for the Rangers?
I'm pretty sure Wayne Gretzky played for the
Rangers. I don't know much about hockey, but I know Wayne Gretzky.
What, at the end of his career?
I have no idea. I know he played for the Rangers, though.
Hold on, man.
I thought he played for the Kings.
100%
cool.
played for the Rangers.
You got it.
I had a hockey game when I was little, so on the PlayStation. So I know he definitely played for the Rangers.
Yeah, man, he played for the Rangers, man.
And shout out to my brother too, man.
He played for 3 years, 96 to 99.
That's what I said. At the end of his career.
Shout out to my big bro Brandon. We used to always make a creative player on different games, but his last name was always Black, and he was a Black player. Whether it be 3D baseball, on hockey, anything like that, which is a random Black dude. We were just throwing it, a tennis game, anything.
Black.
Yeah. So, but any team in New York is just competing constantly for Hurt Olympics right now. And
Wait, can I ask why the Giants are competing for the Hurt Olympics?
Why are y'all not?
Stink.
We rebuilding. Come on, man. We rebuilding. We got Daniel Jones.
How long can you get off with that rebuilding?
Yo, we got DJ now, man. You know what I mean? We got the future right now.
Y'all was rebuilding when y'all got Odell.
I don't know that. You said you don't have no. You don't sound confident in that.
No, I'm confident as fuck. DJ's my guy.
The old lineman?
You think Daniel Jones is a lineman? Nah, he's a QB.
I didn't know who you were talking about.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. I'm gonna need you to watch your mouth.
That's the thing. That's the thing about New York, man.
Best QB in the league.
Yeah, you sound crazy.
So what you were saying about the Hurt Olympics, Trev?
Yeah, clearly as you see.
Yeah, he wants about this shit right now.
Hurt right
he
now.
Had to take a swig of his drink.
Hurt. We're gonna leave the Giants out of this right now, because we can go back to when we talked about the draft. For you was hurt. Anyway, Jamal Adams has said he's not playing for the Jets because they ain't giving him a contract. Arguably one top 5 in my opinion, safeties in the league. However you want to slice it. You can argue for him for #1. There could be a case. I think Tyrann Mathieu is the best safety in the league. You ain't gonna argue that with me, but he's up there as top 3, top 4, top 5. Jamal Adams, the dude could play. Safeties right now are really changing the game. You get a good safety, you keep him for what he does. Giants would know, trading away a good safety. That's why I say Hurt Olympics.
We got Jabril Peppers. Stop the madness.
He's still growing.
Jabril Peppers is a dog. And been a dog since the Browns.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, Jabril. I'm not gonna go there. Jabril Peppers is growing. I do like. I like.
Okay.
But come on, who'd y'all just give away? Say his name for me.
It's Collins.
He ain't no Landon Collins.
He ain't no Landon Collins. But what Landon Collins do last year?
Played for the Redskins.
What's that mean?
They're just as bad as the Giants.
They in that Hurt Olympics too.
That's so sad. We gain in salary.
But your defense was actually pretty good for the Giants when Landon Collins was there. That's what I was saying. You gave me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But we had a lot of yeah.
Thank you. We're gonna come back down. So now you got the top safety, arguably one of the best right now, and you're not gonna pay that man. Are the Jets bugging?
Yeah, they bugging. How's they? I don't know much about. I don't watch that much sports anymore. I don't watch the NFL. I haven't been watching the NFL that much, especially with the protests going on. I was kind of fake watching. Sometimes I watch sometimes I wasn't. And then Lamar Jackson came on the scene, and it was like, how can I not watch? You know what I'm trying to say? But it was mainly I was watching the Ravens. I was watching my team and seeing what they had to offer. But if it was me, yes, I would pay him. He's like you said, there's no argument. I don't even watch football and I know Jamal Adams is a great safety. You don't have to. You can watch one game. You can watch I can watch the Jets play the Patriots for a quarter and realize, okay, that dude's good. He's really good. So
he's a game changer. He makes that. He blitzes. He's middle of the field. He's all over the place. And then I watch. You know what I mean? All the protests. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Especially the DBs and receivers. I watch that heavy, and I hate it because I watch it with a. I can't just watch it as a fan anymore. It's pissing me off. I watch it and start critiquing.
As a coach.
Yeah, it gets me mad. But it's like, New York, what are we doing? I'm not even a Jets fan, but what are y'all doing?
Stupidest franchise in the world, man. He is not the best defensive player. He's the best player on the team. Hands down. He's the best player on his team. And he made Sam Darnold look better than he is. He's the reason Sam Darnold had a decent season. And nobody can argue that.
Doesn't Sam Darnold get better by going against someone like that? Why wouldn't you want to pay him to keep him around?
But they're not paying anybody else. They got rid of Robbie Anderson because they didn't want to pay him.
Right.
Like, you're not paying.
I agree with that one. You don't need to pay Robbie Anderson.
Who else they got to throw the ball to?
You can find another Robbie Anderson.
But that was a connection that they already had, though. He's a proven product.
Yeah.
Proven product, their number one wide receiver. Why would you get rid of him? Young, fast as all hell.
Yep.
Sam Darnold knew where to put the ball at for him to get it. And you get rid of him over a couple $1 million.
Because we can get somebody just as fast for a couple thousand.
Okay, we're in June. Who they got? Who they got in June?
I don't know. We don't know yet. We didn't know Robbie Anderson until he was Robbie Anderson.
Knew Robbie Anderson the first year he stepped on the Jets. He was the only good wide
receiver. You did not know him the first year he stepped on the Jets.
Fuck Robbie
Anderson. I did.
He was undrafted. There's no way you could have known who he was.
I play fantasy football. Maybe that's why. Because I play fantasy.
Undrafted.
I get he's undrafted. The kid was good for about 13, 14 points a week. Like, I had to keep my
not early on.
But
right out the gate.
That's something you didn't. Well, let's say this: Robbie Anderson wasn't drafted in anyone's top in the first 5 rounds of anyone's draft, of anybody's fantasy draft. So nobody was checking for Robbie Anderson.
No, that's a fact. But by week 3,
that's the same. You can find another one.
Yeah, you can find another. I can find another somebody else who can get 13, 14. If we want to talk fantasy football,
you can find another Robbie Anderson. You can't find another Jamal Adams.
No,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I take Jamal Adams. But if you're not paying Robbie, my point was if you're not paying Robbie, then you have no reason not to pay Jamal Adams. That was my point.
You do, in a sense, if you're truly trying to rebuild your team and you're trying to, you need to start your offensive and defensive line. That is the core of your football team is your offensive and defensive line. If you're getting rid of, I'm just telling. I know I said the same thing when the Ravens got rid of C.J. Mosley. C.J. Mosley was the best player on the Ravens at that time. He was the best player. They got rid of him, and luckily they picked up. At the time, they picked up Mark Ingram and they picked up Earl Thomas, 2 aging players. In my mindset, look, I was like, all right, I can see how it could work. Depending if they produce how they had been in the past, I can see how that works. You save some money and you get 2 notable names after releasing your best player. But it ended up working out.
They some bozos, Derek. They also got rid of one of their best defensive linemen to the Giants for pennies.
I can't make it.
I don't know what rebuilding you're trying to talk about the Jets because you rebuild with a young safety who's in his second going into his 3rd year.
Yeah, 3rd year safety.
And you rebuild with a receiver who has a connection with your young quarterback. Like, that's pretty clear, bro.
You can't tell me you rebuilding with Le'Veon Bell on your squad. What are we talking about?
Man, I don't know. I just know if I'm rebuilding, I'm looking at my offensive defensive line. If they get rid of defensive linemen too, their best defensive line, I have no. You were just at my
crib talking defense wins games. So you get better. You get rid of your best player on the field. Your best player.
If
I will say this. Oh, go ahead, Serge.
I was gonna say if defense wins, like I said, it starts at the front line. If I can get better defense, a better core defensive line, and get rid of a star safety, and bring somebody whoever they bring in behind Jamal Adams isn't going to be as good. But he can be effective. He can work in that. He can work within that system and be okay and have a better defense. Have a better defense as a whole.
I will say this.
Don't laugh at what Trev said earlier then, because when we got rid of Landon Collins and brought in Jabril Peppers, it's exactly what we did. We rebuilt the line when we had a shitty secondary and got cooked every single game.
Yeah, and I don't agree with Sesh what he was just saying there, but I will say this. I'm not giving them that great safety. That's what I'm going with, and maybe that's my bias. I will say this, right? What took the Kansas City Chiefs to the next level is when they got Tyrann Mathieu.
I guess so. At the same rate,
and then
at the same rate, the Chiefs put up points in bunches.
Yes, but they couldn't stop a soul.
Yeah.
They still couldn't stop really. They still couldn't stop really.
They had to come from behind. That's true. They had to come from behind in 3 of their playoff wins.
It's one thing of coming from behind, but like if all you need is a stop or two to win a game, that's totally different from.
But they wasn't getting those stops or two. And Tyrann Mathieu is a big reason. He changed the culture. They said it. He changed the culture of.
I give you that. I'll give you that. He changed the culture.
He didn't just play safety. He played linebacker. He played nickel. He played corner. He played safety. He was everywhere, doing so much stuff that made that defense start to click in like week 8. Like they really got busy.
And I think Patrick Mahomes, his performance outshines the defense, but we don't realize in those comeback wins, their defense didn't give up any points when they were coming back. Like they didn't give up no points.
That's a fact, but you still have to put up points to keep that pressure on.
Yeah,
and that's I understand. And is Jamal Adams playing those roles that Tyrann Mathieu is playing everywhere? I don't know. I'm asking.
He's everywhere.
Yo, he's real. He's real. Like, watch the highlights of him.
There's 1 minute he's in the sack. He's sacking you. 1 minute he's in the middle of the field, picking some stuff off. He's calling coverages. He's playing with he's a dog.
He's real.
Safeties are literally game changers, right?
Like he fucked the Giants up by himself.
By himself.
I'm talking by himself. Ran into Daniel Jones. Sacked him, flipped the ball, and then just took the shit to the house. Yeah. Like, fuck, give me that shit. Yeah.
He single-handedly, like Jesus said, by himself.
By himself.
I'm definitely. If the season does come back, I'm definitely tuned in because I need to see what's going on. I need to see what's going on.
Now he's cold.
Highlights don't tell you. Highlights don't tell the whole story.
I've been watching him since his second year in Arizona.
I'll give you my all. I'll give you my whole all that. And you could go watch the game fully.
That's what I need.
And check out how cold that man is.
I believe you. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. I don't know. I don't know if the DVs mean more than a defensive line. But
I'll never. Of course not. Never.
But
DVs can only do so much. But if you don't got a defensive line, there ain't nothing we gonna really do.
Yeah.
Cam, you sitting over here agreeing and shit like you ain't played D-line and shit.
No, they traded the D-line.
I agree.
That's what Kevin said.
Okay.
I just said I gave the D-line.
All right.
You want to disagree with that and say DBs
nah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, they gave us their all-star DN. They gave it to us.
Yeah, that was silly. Yeah. Silly.
Speaking of football, NFL, right? Obviously, it's a big talk about Cap. Anthony Lynn, Chargers head coach, said Cap is a quarterback that fits his team now, and there could be other service. And apparently, when things calm down, they're going to work him out.
When things calm down?
Yeah, like I guess with COVID, right?
COVID.
Yeah, they're not having workouts right now or whatever. How y'all feel about that? What's y'all take on that?
He's put it out there, so now we just got to see. He's already put it out there, so either he follows through and it works out, or Cap doesn't show up, or there's going to be another storyline behind it.
Of course. And is it just – and now the question is now it's getting Cap back into the NFL because he was right? Or, like, I don't get all of a sudden now he fits the team. And I guess I'm only really giving – I'm only give Anthony Lynn benefit of the doubt. Had Phillip Rivers before, and they're completely two different quarterbacks. Now that they got Tyrod Taylor signed, Is that where he's saying now they're changing the offense, and yes, Cap's skill set fits them?
The Lamar Jackson effect. It's the Lamar Jackson effect. Partly the Lamar Jackson effect. Everybody wants to have that run pass option in their repertoire down. And
but again, wasn't that the Kaepernick effect?
Thank you.
That was
Cap was doing that before
Cap
Lamar.
was doing that too.
Vic,
Not he was it's one thing of doing it. It's another thing of doing it at the Lamar
level,
Jackson
right?
So
he was a better passer than Lamar Jackson, though. So he was able to take.
We'll call it the Mike Vick effect. Then we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna give your man all that juice.
Right. Yeah.
Stop it. Knock it off.
But he was doing, like, when you talk about creating an offense to better suit a quarterback, that's what, like, Harbaugh on his end did for Cap.
Yeah, the Lamar Jackson effect is crazy. Cap,
yes, Cap's a better passer. Cap's a better passer, or was.
So Cap was a better passer than Lamar Jackson last year?
Last year?
Yes.
But he didn't play.
I'm just saying, the year he won MVP.
Yeah, he's always been a better passer.
Yeah.
All right. Are you saying like passing motion, or are you talking about like actually completing passes and running the offense?
Completing passes.
I think y'all are absolutely wrong. And we can go to the stats and we can look it up.
He made it to the Super Bowl because he was a better passer than he was a runner, and they also had a really good defense.
100%.
But he was the maestro of that offense.
I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and kill me, and I'm gonna get on my Googles real quick.
Listen,
I gotta say, at this point, I have to be stat man.
No,
At this point, I have to be stat man.
Because you gotta
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying that Kaepernick, he started the whole, I guess you can say he started the run pass option. What I'm saying is, it's one thing of somebody, we can say, is it because, let's take Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was rapping. He picked, I don't know, or whatnot. He had the style first.
Sesh, the question was specific. Who's a better passer?
No, I didn't ask that question. That wasn't a question I brought up.
I made the statement. He reacted.
Cat was a better passer, and I said that is not correct.
Yes, he is a better passer.
When you say he's a better passer, then that's when I ask.
Okay.
When you say he's a better passer, what do you mean? When you say like throwing motion, like who he's passing to, efficiency. I will almost guarantee you that Lamar Jackson had one of the most efficient years as a quarterback last year. I don't care what you versus who?
Versus the Dolphins. I know they
versus anyone. Versus anyone as a season.
I think the numbers. He also threw a lot less than most quarterbacks do in the season.
That's where you get the efficiency rating. There's less attempts.
But we're talking about efficiency. You said he's a better passer.
He's a better passer.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm wrong.
You can go for it.
We just said you said it was more efficient. We just said okay, he wasn't more efficient. Now he's just a better passer because he's a better passer.
But then you're gonna have to talk about the type of throws, what type of throws each one are throwing, right? We know Lamar. You could even look at his receiving core. A lot of tight end passes and things like that. So, there is stats don't tell it all. He still threw for a boatload of yards for sure. But I think passing wise, right? You want Lamar Jackson to pass as compared to you. So if I'm gonna create a game plan, right, and I'm like, all right, I'm basing it off of. You rather have Cap will beat you with your arm better than Lamar Jackson.
Okay, we'll say that. Let's say that.
We did.
Let's say that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But when you say he's a better passer than him, I don't. When it comes down to what he did in the game, what we actually saw from Lamar Jackson, his best season, and what we saw from Colin Kaepernick, who I love Cap, but I'm riding with my hometown guy.
I know what you're gonna talk about his best season. I think, but just let you know, I think Cap is like 5th in NFL history or something crazy with passer efficiency. It's had some crazy stats, bro, that he's up there ahead of Tom Brady and stuff like that. Mike Golick, I want to say, pretty much broke it down on Cap's numbers.
Like I said, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get y'all shit off. If I find some shit, just know I'm Googling.
Go ahead, Google it. I got something for you.
I'm Googling.
You know what I love the most? That Derek lives it up, bro. The human contradiction. He lives that every day. Because there's a man who always says the numbers are so misleading. But now he is living and dying by these efficiency numbers because it's his man.
I'm not living and dying. Oh, I'm just saying what you said. I'm going off what you said. You said he was a better passer. And I asked when you said that, the first thing I said was, "What do you mean by he's a better passer?" After that, you said he's more efficient, and I said that is incorrect.
Listen, I ain't gonna go. We're just gonna hear. I'll bring up my video about Cap. Since you said it's the Lamar Jackson effect. Can y'all hear that?
With playing football, there is an endless list of understandable reasons why that's the case. But the result of it all, I believe, is that many, if not most people, have completely forgotten how good a football player Kaepernick was. Some may remember that he was once one play from a championship, and maybe that he once ran for 181 yards in a playoff game, which is still the most by a quarterback ever.
Still.
But there's a lot.
Against the Pack.
Cap was a great runner. Steve Young is the only quarterback in history with more postseason rushing yards. Cap was also durable. He made 53 straight starts for the Niners, which is equal to Joe Montana's longest streak with the team. And most of all, he was a very efficient and risk-averse passer. He has the 4th best interception rate in history. He's fourth. Tom Brady is 5th. He has the 6th best touchdown to interception rate in history. He's 6th. Drew Brees is 7th. And finally, Kaepernick's much maligned final season was not nearly as bad as some people want you to believe. In that season, he had a better completion percentage than Cam Newton, more yards per attempt than Eli Manning, and a better passer rating than Phillip Rivers. All of this while his best receiver was Jeremy Curlin. So here's the problem. Cap is only 32. That's younger than 15 quarterbacks that started a game in the league last year. Now, I have no idea what the impact of all the time off would be.
Sesh, we talking history, bro. Passing rating, passing efficiency.
Is it? And I can. When was this? When did he make these statements? When was that video come out?
Tuesday. A day. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is me looking at it real time. Completion. I'm not saying this is a good completion percentage. 59.8.
Yes.
And,
Cap's worst year was 59.2.
Yeah.
His worst year was 58.4 in 2013.
Who? Lamar's?
Kaepernick.
That's
Lamar Jackson's worst year was 58.2. He's only been playing for 2 years. His best year last year was his completion rate percentage was 66.1.
What's Cap's best completion?
Cap's best completion percentage is 62.4 in his second year.
Second year.
Yeah,
with a lot more attempts.
We can go. Are you sure about that, Cap? Or are you just talking? Because if I can go there. We can go there.
The style of offense.
Let's go there. Cap, he had 218 attempts. Let's go there. He had 218 attempts in his second year. Where he had that 62. Oh, Trev, don't cut me off just yet. Don't cut me off because I'm just saying. He had his second year, 2012, when he went to the Super Bowl, he had 218 attempts at that season. Last year, Lamar Jackson had 401 attempts.
I'm not gonna say that, yeah.
So, again, are we talking about the style of throw? Yes, I will.
Did Cat play that whole season?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, Lamar Jackson won the MVP. He was the most valuable player of the league, of everyone. This is including Patrick Mahomes, the one who won the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson had arguably the best season ever by a quarterback, passing and rushing. I don't make these things up. I'm not making this up. All I'm saying is when you say he is a better passer, what do you mean by that? When Trev said he has a better chance of beating you with his arm, okay, I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue that.
That really defines better passer. The numbers you're reading is him throwing 5-10-yard passes to his tight end. Like you know what you're doing, and I get it. And we can't argue the number. We're not arguing the number because we get it. We get what you're doing here.
What I'm not doing. Okay.
No.
You lucky I fell down. You lucky I fell down.
I get it. We get it. We get it. But no, you know damn well.
I'm arguing the point that was made. and we've totally lost focus of what was going on because y'all said
I don't get the difference between someone being better at beating you with their arm and someone being the best passer. Like, to me, it's synonymous. It's synonymous.
It isn't, though.
I'm better beating you with my arm. I'm not a better passer than you.
No.
Okay.
Well,
If you force Lamar Jackson just to throw the ball, yes, you have a better chance. If he's just throwing the ball, yes. If he's running and throwing the ball, he's a better passer than Cap is.
I can kind of see where Derek is going with it, but I don't know.
It's all because how we look at the quarterback position, and we can go back there once the season happens. If Lamar Jackson does it again, we need to start talking about the quarterback position a little differently.
No,
so
I just think
leave it at that.
Listen, your argument, what I argued, what it was about was you said the Lamar Jackson effect. Meanwhile, like Cap and many other people, and then like Lamar might have took it over as far as really dominating rushing wise with his skill set, but as far as us seeing a running QB that is black is not the Lamar Jackson effect.
Oh no, that's not what I'm saying. We were talking about the run pass. I was talking about the run pass option in particular. I said the run pass because I said this the Lamar Jackson effect. The run pass option has become very popular in the NFL because of Lamar Jackson's success with it. Am I off with saying that?
A little bit because Cap had success.
Cam had success.
Tim
Tebow had success.
Whoa, man. Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these people didn't have success. What I'm saying is he made it popular. He had the most success in that style of offense. So now because
the most success.
No.
Yes.
Like they got rid of Alex Smith to Kaepernick.
Hold on, Sesh. The most success.
That I've seen, yes.
From a running QB, run pass option QB.
Yes.
So what did Russell Wilson do?
He did well.
He's won championships.
He did. As an individual player, he did not run the run pass option better than Lamar Jackson. Because he didn't.
He passed better. He didn't run better. Yeah. So, but he still run pass option. When you think about run pass option, right? The best run pass option person was Russell Wilson. He was back there dancing. Right? He's still to this day. Right? Arguably his numbers last year were MVP numbers. He's been doing it and won a chip with it.
I'll give you Russell Wilson.
Okay, that's all I want to hear.
I'll give you Russell Wilson just because I know Russell is as a balanced quarterback running passing, and he is the most effective at doing that. But I haven't seen somebody run the run pass option offense better than Lamar Jackson has done last year. I haven't seen it. We can if we want to talk about when it became why everybody it seems to want to be doing it. It seems to me it is Lamar Jackson. It seems everybody wants something of that ilk.
Yeah. Please. I want this whole insanity just to be one clip. I just want that clip. And I wanted a clip when you argue with me, I could beat you better with my arm. I'm not a better passer. I just want that one little clip. And then we can just put a little voting shit on it. Like, how insane is this? Is it not that insane or really fucking insane? What is he talking about? That is the craziest shit. If I can beat you with my arm better, I can pass the ball better, I'm a better passer.
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to get you.
We're not. All right.
What's your definition?
Huh?
What's your definition of a better passer if it's not beating you with my arm?
The person who gets the ball to their receiver in the best way. I guess I don't know. Who has the better chance of winning the game when passing the ball? I don't know.
Beating you with their arm.
Well, we're going to end on that one right there. We're going to get back to eventually Kaepernick and the Chargers wanting to sign the NFL. We got sidetracked, but that's why we are literally called. We will get there in a minute. Because eventually we'll get to the point that we were going to make. And that was beautiful. That was beautiful, Seth. We're going to end it on that one right there, man. So
absolutely.
Y'all be great, man. Everybody keep tuning in. And that episode 10 going to be out. Peep episode 8, 9, and obviously 10, right? That comes after. All right, we out.
This ain't the life that we chose, but it's the life that we live in. Know we belong